The mist is rising, and with it the echoes of a story not yet finished. The screen is dark at first, a silence so heavy it feels alive. Then slowly, faint sounds begin to seep in, the wind, restless, whistling through the highlands. A low rumble of thunder echoes in the distance, rolling over hills as if the very earth knows a storm is coming. Out of the shadows, the outline of ancient stones emerges. They stand silent, yet they breathe with memory, holding centuries of secrets. The camera does not show faces. It lingers instead on the stones glistening with dew, on wild grass bending under the pressure of the wind, on the broken edge of a weathered ruin that seems to whisper warnings to anyone who dares to listen. The voice comes low, steady, almost like a thought whispered directly into the heart. Time does not end. It circles back, again and again. What was lost returns. And what begins must one day end. These words float like mist across the landscape, pulling the viewer deeper into the mystery. The scene shifts, the still reflection of a lock ripples suddenly as if disturbed by something unseen. A single candle flickers in a stone window, its flame fragile against the encroaching darkness. We do not see who lit it, nor who waits beside it. We only feel the weight of expectation, of love, of longing that has endured across centuries. As the narration deepens, the imagery sharpens. Rain begins to fall, soft at first, then harder, streaking across stone, turning the highland paths into rivers of mud. A lone figure is shown only in silhouette, cloak pulled tight, walking against the wind. Their faces hidden, their steps heavy, but their purpose feels unshakable. The sound of the storm grows louder, joined now by the toll of a distant bell, slow, mournful. Warning of the days to come, the voice whispers again, firmer this time, like an oath carried by the wind. Every ending hides a beginning. Every shadow waits for the light. With these words, the visuals cut rapidly, hands brushing across worn pages of an old book. A raven lifting from a branch into the storm. A sword driven deep into the soil as lightning flashes overhead. The screen begins to blur, fading from storm to stillness, from shadow to pale light. For a brief moment, the viewer is shown the highlands at dawn, silent, golden, eternal. And then, just before the light can offer comfort, the darkness surges back in, overwhelming the frame, leaving only a single phrase whispered in the void. The end is only the beginning. Asterisk. The storm has not passed. It lingers at the edges of the frame, but now the focus softens. The sound of rain quiets, replaced by something more intimate. The scratch of a quill against parchment, the faint crackle of firewood burning low. A letter lies open on a wooden desk, words half written in hurried strokes. The hand that writes trembles, and though no face is seen, the weight of those words is felt. Each drop of ink is heavy, like blood spilled across centuries. The candle beside the paper flickers violently, threatening to extinguish but holding on just as love has held on. Across time itself, a voice rises, quieter, steadier, wrapped in emotion. What is time, if not a chain? A chain of memory, of promises, of love that will not die. The narration floats through the scene as the visuals shift. Two silhouettes stand in a corridor of shadows, their hands brushing together, but never fully holding. The space between them feels endless, as if the very air is pulling them apart. Yet their shadows stretch across the floor, overlapping, becoming one. The camera cuts to a spinning wheel, its spokes blurring as it turns, faster and faster. The sound grows louder, harsher, until suddenly it stops. The silence that follows is deafening. In that pause, a different image appears, a single lock of hair tied with ribbon, resting in a small wooden box. The ribbon is frayed, worn from years of being held, kissed, wept over. A voice, cracked with emotion, whispers through the darkness. Love is not bound to flesh, nor to years. It endures. It waits. The imagery deepens, drawing viewers closer. A woman's hand-aged, strong but trembling presses against the surface of ancient stone. The camera lingers on her fingers, tracing grooves carved by time, as if she is searching for a way through, a way back. Cut to another image, a man's silhouette in the distance, framed by mist, standing still as though listening for a voice he cannot hear. The screen does not show his face. It does not need to. His stance carries the ache of waiting, of knowing love is close yet always just out of reach. The narration swells, heavy with longing. Across years, across wars, across worlds we return to each other, always. The words echo as the imagery flows, letters burning in fire, smoke rising into the night sky. Two hands clasping only to be torn apart by shadows. The steady beat of a heart played faintly in the background. Every shot lingers on the absence of faces, forcing the audience to feel rather than see, to imagine rather than recognize. For a moment, the visuals grow still again. A candle flame, alone, glowing in the dark. The camera moves closer until the flame fills the screen. The voice drops to a whisper, but even the brightest flame flickers when the wind rises, the candle dies, leaving nothing but black. The silence that follows is broken by a sound distant, echoing like footsteps on stone. A bell tolls again, slower now, heavier, and with each strike the screen flashes brief glimpses, a letter carried away by the wind, a clasped necklace slipping through trembling fingers, a lock of hair scattered into the storm. Then, against the darkness, two silhouettes reappear, this time standing closer, hands finally locked together. Their shadows stretch across the earth, merging completely as if refusing to be torn apart again. The voice, steady now, closes the moment with quiet certainty. We are more than time, more than fate. More than ending, the image fades into black, and in the silence a single heartbeat echoes. 1, 2, and then the whisper returns, softer than ever. But clear, the end is only the beginning. Asterisk, the screen shudders with a sound that is neither storm nor silence, but something heavier, the steady beat of drums. Low at first, muffled like distant thunder, then building, growing sharper, as though marching feet are pressing against the soil of the earth itself. The land trembles beneath unseen armies, and the air thickens with smoke. The camera lingers on fragments, a tattered flag, half buried in mud, fluttering violently against the wind. A sword blade glinting as it's drawn, not in triumph but necessity. Boots sinking into wet ground, each step leaving behind a scar that will never heal. Faces remain hidden, but their shadows betray the truth. War has arrived. And it does not wait for love, nor for destiny. The narration cuts through the noise. Colder now, sharper. History does not ask. It takes, it tears. And it remembers only what it chooses, as these words echo. The visuals darken torches flaring in the night. A map spread across a rough wooden table, pins driven into it with a force that shakes the frame. A hand clenches into a fist, veins straining, knuckles pale. Yet the camera does not rise to reveal the figure's identity. The faceless approach forces the audience into the tension, into the inevitability of conflict. The screen flashes to storm clouds gathering over the highlands, lightning cutting jagged lines across the sky. Each strike illuminates fragments, a raven's wings beating in the air, a musket loaded in silence, a horse rearing in panic as unseen riders press forward. Every image is fleeting, but together they build a symphony of dread. A stronger voice now, heavy with warning, breaks through. The time for choosing is gone. The hour has come. With these words, the imagery sharpens into chaos. Fire spreads across a wooden settlement, sparks shooting into the night sky. The silhouettes of people run, some toward the flames, others away. A hand reaches for another in the smoke, but they miss, slipping apart. The crack of gunfire shatters the silence. Followed by the clash of steel against steel, the drums grow faster, louder, until they nearly drown out everything else. Over them another whisper emerges, quieter but more chilling because of its calmness. Every life has its cost. Every choice leaves its scar. These words echo as the visuals reveal the brutality of war without ever showing faces, blood dripping onto parchment, arrows striking into wooden doors. A broken wheel spinning endlessly in the mud. The storm now returns in full, merging with the chaos. Rain pelts against stone walls as shadows run across the highland paths. The ground shakes as cannon fire echoes, distant yet devastating. A shot lingers on an old clock tower, its hand stuck, frozen at midnight. The bell above swings violently but makes no sound, as though even time itself has been silenced by the weight of fate. Then sudden quiet. The screen fades to black for a heartbeat, and when it returns, the image is simple, a single sword driven deep into the soil. Lightning flashes, illuminating it. The earth shakes, but the sword remains unbroken, unyielding. Over this, the voice steadies, no longer warning, but declaring, "The end cannot be stopped. It can only be faced." The camera pulls back now, showing silhouettes gathering on the ridge of a hill, their figures dark against the burning horizon. The wind rips across them, tearing at cloaks, scattering ash through the air. No faces are seen, yet the stance of each figure is clear, ready. Unwilling to turn away, bound by destiny, the drums thunder one final time, then stop, replaced by silence. So deep it cuts. In that silence, the whisper returns, softer than before, but filled with a chilling truth. The end is only the beginning. The chaos falls away. The noise, the thunder, the clash of steel all swallowed into silence. The screen lingers in darkness, so deep it feels endless. Then, faintly, the sound of a heartbeat returns, slow, heavy, each beat echoing as if it belongs not to one person, but to the world itself. 1, 2. Then, stillness. The silence stretches until it feels unbearable. A sudden flare of fire cracks across the screen, breaking the dark. The image is fleeting, a torch thrown to the ground, flames crawling across dirt, spreading like veins of light through shadow. The fire consumes parchment maps, letters, and fragments of the past, devouring them until nothing remains but ash. The camera does not rise to reveal who watches. The faceless perspective leaves only the flame, alive, defiant, but doomed to burn out. The narration slips in, low and resonant, more intimate than before. What is an ending but the shadow of a beginning? What is loss but proof that we have loved? Each word is deliberate, weighted, pulling the audience deeper into the final promise of the story. The visuals shift like memory rapid, fleeting, almost like visions of a life flashing before one's eyes. A lock of hands, trembling but refusing to let go. A candle burning down to nothing. A raven lifting into the pale sky. A broken sword lying abandoned on the ground. A child's wooden toy soaked by rain. Each fragment tells a story, but together they form something larger. The weight of everything that has been and everything that must come. The camera slows again. A vast shot of the highlands at dawn spreads across the screen. Mist curls through the valleys, pale light brushing the tops of hills. For a moment, peace lingers. The storm is gone, the fire's burned out. The earth is quiet. But it is not the stillness of safety, it is the stillness before something greater. The light feels fragile, as though it could be broken at any second. The voice rises, no longer a whisper, but a vow. We walk into the unknown, carrying the weight of the past and the fire of tomorrow. Our story does not end here. Over these words, silhouettes appear one last time. They stand on the crest of a ridge, backlit by the pale light of dawn. Their figures are dark, faceless, yet unmistakably human-tired, scarred, but unbroken. They face forward into whatever waits beyond the horizon. The heartbeat returns, faster now, matching the rhythm of anticipation. With it comes the sound of wind, tearing across the screen, scattering ash into the air. The ash transforms into sparks and the sparks into stars. The screen fills with darkness again. But now it is not empty, it is alive, lit with points of light. Like a night sky without end, the final whisper threads through the silence. Steady and haunting, the end is only the beginning. The words linger as the screen fades to black. Then a single line emerges in stark white. Outlander Season 8. The end is only the beginning. The drums return one last time, one strike, echoing like thunder, and then everything cuts to silence.